welcome to Knitsibs episode 10. I am Julianne.
I'm Valerie.
I'm Gloria.
And we're a podcast by three yarn-obsessed sisters. As you can see, Valerie is joining us from somewhere far more fun than me and Gloria. But, you know, it happens.
I am somewhere off the North Shore of Long Island.
That's as much as she knows.
Accurate.
So Val, before we lose you or anything, so Val's going on a boating trip for what, 2 weeks?
11 nights.
11 nights. So do you want to share what you brought with you for, crafty entertainment? Let's see how you pack for your trip.
So I wasn't sure if I would be able to join for the recording of this podcast or if I would have a connection or anything. So I thought it would just be fun to show what I brought for 11 nights of vacation on our sailboat. So I limited myself to one bag, but the bag is this big. So first I'll start with, I talked about this last week. I don't recall if I actually showed it, but that crochet mandala Afghan. This is from Annie's Kit Clubs, and it comes each month. I get a kit with a piece of the pattern and the corresponding yarn to it. So this was the first kit. So I crocheted this while I was sick. And then just yesterday or the day before, the second showed up. So it's 5 skeins of yarn and a piece of the pattern. So I'll be working on that. These are the yarns it came with. Colors are like pretty bohemian, I think.
Yeah.
At least how I'm thinking of it. And then, so this is the pattern. And then it shows you what part of it you're working on. So I'm working on like the second ring of the inside. So that's one thing I brought. Although it is like 90 degrees and ridiculously humid. We just had this like surprise, really intense storm this afternoon. So everything is evaporating back into the air and incredibly humid. And I will not be working on something big like that while the weather's like that.
Yeah.
Like this. So I also have the umbrella socks that I showed last time. I'm past the point of where the heel goes in on sock 2. So again, the pattern is umbrella socks and the yarn is Wicked Not So Starry Night. It was a sock, like a sock duo, the yarn and the contrast yarn came together, a sock set. Not So Starry Night.
There's a name for it. It's a sock set.
I'm on vacation. I couldn't come up with that. All right. So I am past the heel and I'm making shorty socks. So I think I might be putting heels in on this trip, which is super exciting. I said last time I've never done an afterthought heel. So I'm a little nervous about cutting the yarn and picking it out, but it looks like I only make like one little snip and I could go real slow. So that's something I brought with me. I have another sock. And I left something downstairs. Another sock. This was started probably a year ago. I tried 3 different patterns for it. I was not ever happy with the pattern. So now I'm just doing like this real basic, not quite a rib. It's like a faux rib, I guess. And I'm on the toe decreases or close to the toe decreases on the first sock.
What yarn is that? I like it.
This is Mud Punch.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I have the label in here. I could tell you the colorway, but I got this a number of years ago as well. No, I don't have the label in here. But it's a Mud Punch yarn. And this is for my husband and the colors are nice and nautical. Let's see what else I got.
Now, do you actually get this much crafting time when you're on the boat? Because I know you get sick. Are you actually able to sit and craft?
I sometimes am. I found that I am much better at crafting and reading a book than being on my phone or doing anything like on the Kindle. but I can't always. So I did bring some Dramamine with me. I sometimes use the patch. I didn't bring the patch this time because
For your goggles?
I did. They're actually on the boat. Maybe they will make an appearance later in the episode. So I'll give those a show. I have the Attune shawl. So we do have some pretty long stretches. Our destination, like our ultimate destination for this trip, is Block Island, Rhode Island. So that's like a significant distance from where we live, especially in a sailboat where you're only going like 8 knots. So I'll have a decent amount of knitting and reading time when we're underway. We're not sure if we're meeting other people or not, so we might have a lot of time kind of just to ourselves. So we'll see. This is the Attune shawl. I have not made any progress on it since last time we recorded, but I brought it anyway because you never know. And again, this is fair, like way too large to use to knit while it's this hot and humid out.
Yeah.
I was going to bring some embroidery, but I didn't because it didn't fit in the bag. It is still Tour de Fleece. So in my little book of the month box, I have some yarn that I'm working on spinning and some spindles. So this is yarn that I spindle spun last week. Spindle spinned. I have 2 different size Ashford spindles. This is probably one I'll spin on. And then I was thinking I might ply on the larger one. And the fiber is this amazing fluffy Targhee silk bamboo blend from Quillen Fiberworks, and it is absolutely amazing. It took me a while to get used to spinning on the spindle, but this fiber drafts absolutely beautifully. And 2 toilet paper rolls to wind my finished singles around so I can buy. It looks like you've got like company in your
I've got Kaylee trying, my daughter trying to show me stuff. So
and then finally I have a book, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I have The Shore by Katie Runds. I have The Summer After by Carly Fortune. I have The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I have The Lion's
You're reading
Den.
a book a night or something? Like, calm down.
Sometimes on the boat I do read a book a day. The Lion's Den by Catherine St. John. Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I have Beach Reads by Emily Henry. And Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And some Sudoku, just in case I'm bored. So that is what I packed for 11 nights on the sailboat. So hopefully it'll keep me entertained. But I think last year when we took our trip, I think I read 9 books or something ridiculous like that. But a lot of them were just kind of light, fluffy beach reads that it wasn't shocking that you could finish in 24 hours.
So are you at all involved in like driving the sailboat or putting the sails up, or is it all your husband?
He tells me when to pull a line and I pull a line.
Okay.
I'm capable of driving the boat when it's under power. I'm not really comfortable like operating it under sail.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of reading and crafting while he does the hard work. I mean, I really do need to get better at it because God forbid there's an emergency, I should know what to do.
Yeah.
I just lost my spindle. Where's that blue box? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'll get it later. Oh, and there is another skein of yarn that is downstairs in the bathroom right now because my daughter and my husband loaded the boat with all of our supplies while I was working, and they dropped a ball of yarn in the water. So that is currently drying in the bathroom.
What kind of yarn was it?
It was sock yarn. Let's see. If you want to take a trip with me, I'll go grab it, but this might make everyone dizzy. So look away if you get nauseous. And I don't know if this is going to get loud down here. It is sock yarn, a brownish with mustard. I think it's it looks like there are colors in there. It's like a self-striping.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that gives, it's called Perfect Match. And that's all that's left of the label. I don't know. It just says Perfect Match.
Yeah, I
But
think
it has, it's here, Regia, maybe?
Regia. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit for me. I don't know for Gloria.
Yeah, I'm losing you.
Back out.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's one of those skeins where like you get halfway through and there's like a big stripe of yellow and then you start the next
Yes.
sock after that.
That's accurate. Yes.
Yeah.
So, so it's supposed, I knit smaller socks though, so I don't think I will take up the entire skein of yarn.
Right. You'll probably have like a ball of stuff that you have to wind off to get to the next yellow stripe or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, all right, that was my contribution. So, I mean, I'll hang out with you guys on mute for as long as my connection stays, or until something exciting happens and we need to do something.
Sounds good. Well, if we lose you, have fun on your trip. I'm sure we'll get messages.
Thank
throughout the
you.
trip. So,
excited to finally be on vacation.
I'm sure it's been a rough couple weeks. Everyone needs a break, I think.
Definitely.
So. All right. So, Gloria, do you have anything that you finished since last time we recorded?
Nope.
No. All right. I have one finished object, and that is my socks that I was working on last time. So those are done. And this
Very
is
nice.
in Beach Bum Yarn Co. And the color is Rebel Rebel Rainbow. And looks like it's self-striping, but it's not. It's pooling in a spiral.
Mhm.
And I love them.
So was that a sock set or is that random?
This
yarn you used
is
for the-
actually leftover from the Knights Who Say Knit.
Okay.
From my kit. I had done that like golden, yellow, and neutrals for that. And so I think it was a Miss Babs set. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So it was some leftovers from Miss Babs. So it just seemed to go pretty well. It's not showing up as well, but this, like in between the red and the green, is a nice little yellow golden stripe that almost perfectly matches this. So,
Nice.
so those, I finished them and my daughter said, "Oh, those are really pretty." So they're going to her. She is very knit worthy in terms of socks. She pretty much almost exclusively wears hand knit socks now because she got a bunch of hand-me-downs from me because she wears the same size shoe as me. So she got a whole bunch of hand-me-downs from me, and now that's all she wears is hand knit socks. So it will go in her gift pile. And that's it for me for finished objects, I think. So Gloria, what are your current projects?
Well, I have a lot in the works right now. So I unexpectedly have had a lot of knitting time last week.
Would you like to share why or no?
I got COVID, so it was isolating. So I had a lot of knitting time. So I have some updates and I have some new projects. So I have my 30 minutes of knitting project. So last time I had the first mitt finished. So this is the second mitt. I'm more than halfway through like the arm of it.
Yeah.
Before you start there's like a thumb gusset that you do. So I'm more than halfway through the arm part. I think I was doing a little bit more than 30 minutes. I didn't normally what I'll do is like, I'll set a timer for a couple times and then figure out how many rounds I can do or rows I can do in 30 minutes. And then I just do that. But I haven't like timed myself to see how many rounds I can do in 30 minutes. So I think I've been doing more than 30 minutes. I mean, I know I've been doing more than 30 minutes. So we'll see if that slows down, because now I'm back at work and everything. So not going to have as much time for that. My second update is my cardigan. So the first few days that I was sick, I really didn't have like the brain power to work on it. I just wanted to work on small things. So like long rows of the cardigan were not appealing to me. So I didn't work on it for a few days. And then all of a sudden I had the desire to work on it, and it's all I want to work on now. So this is my cardigan progress. So I have about, from the underarm to the bottom, I think this is about like 8.5 inches. So I think I was at like 4 inches last time, so I was maybe halfway. So I'm making.
You say you need like 11 inches?
13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, 13 and a half. So it's going faster than I thought it would. Like I thought it would be like, forever and forever to get like an inch. But I would say it's going faster than I expected it to.
Yeah.
So still have a ways to go. The back again is all the honeycomb brioche. And again, this is hand dyed Knit Picks yarn. So I need to figure out, because now I'm getting nervous that I'm going to run out of yarn, of course. But I don't think I will, but I'm just getting nervous about it. But the one thing that I need to figure out how to do, because the skeins of yarn that I have left are very different from each other, just wound up. One is very dark, one is very light. So I want to learn how to do helical knitting for the sleeves, because I know that when I switch colors in the round, it's going to pull.
Yep.
And I know that about myself, because I did a cowl one time that was like striped, and it pulls the whole way up when I was changing the colors. So I know that that's going to happen. So I want to learn how to do helical knitting so that that doesn't happen on the sleeves. So
I've done that on a couple projects, and there's, a million YouTube tutorials out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
and
to
it's super
look on
easy. It's
YouTube.
just a matter of knowing like the order of what you need to do. So it's super easy. You'll get it.
Yeah, so I'll have to figure that out. And then I'm assuming I'll do like magic loop for the sleeves. I got a long cord cable for the body, and so that I could pick up the collar stitches and all that. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'll just do the sleeves in like a magic loop. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But other than that, I have been doing a ton of sock knitting. So last time I shared, yeah, summer sock camp is in full effect here. So last time I had a finished pair of socks. I just finished it that morning. And that night after podcasting, I casted on another sock, and I have made quite a bit of progress.
Wow.
in 2 weeks. So this is, let me show the front of it. This is the Shallow Sock by Crazy Sock Lady. The yarn is it's a sock blank from Loft 22 sock blank. It is absolutely gorgeous. And this sock is for my mother-in-law for Christmas. So a couple years ago, I made socks for my husband and his father and my brother-in-law. So this year I'm making socks for my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. So this one's for my mother-in-law. It is a contrast cuff, heel, and toe. The contrast is Miss Bab's leftover. This is my leftovers from Stark Baking Mad. And yeah, that's it. I'm using DPNs for this one. It's the Shallow Sock. There was a different sock that I wanted to make, and I had the pattern, and then I pulled it out and looked at it, and it was toe up. I do not enjoy toe up. So I went looking for another pattern, and I found this one by Crazy Sock Lady. So
very nice.
Again, it's the Shallow Sock. It's not like, I'm assuming you can see the texture there. It's not like a basket weave texture, but it's not like diamonds. Like it's almost these like
hourglassy,
smooth, yeah, like hourglass shape things. But this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I am loving it. I'm not enjoying so much knitting from the sock blank.
Really? I
Because
love
I'm
it.
getting this, well, I feel like I really like it because I really like seeing how the color's coming out. But I feel like I'm holding it like super tight because I'm trying to like straighten it out while I'm knitting it. And I feel like it's still like the whole back is plain. I feel like it's a little like bumpy.
Yeah.
So I don't have sock blockers. So I think I might just like do like a light steam just to kind of like smooth it all out a little bit.
Yeah.
But my mother-in-law is like 4'10" or something, tiny, and she has tiny little feet. So I'm hoping that with the contrast cuff heel toe, the leg was supposed to be, it's a 10 round repeat. So the leg was supposed to be 10 rounds longer, and I shortened it a little bit because she has such a tiny foot. I didn't want like this long leg and a tiny foot. So I shortened the leg by 10 rounds. And then I'm hoping with her tiny little foot, I can get a second pair of socks for myself out of this yarn. Because I really love these colors. It's got this like teal color that's showing up now here in the top of the foot part, and it's gorgeous. My husband moved my light and
yeah,
I feel like
you're a little muted color wise.
Not in the right place. Yeah, so.
You might want to weigh and divide your yarn when you make socks for yourself. That way, if you're doing the contrast toe and heel, you could just make the.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I forgot to weigh it when I started, but I'm gonna weigh it when I finish the first sock to see how much I have left. But yeah, that would be a good idea to divide it when I make the socks for myself to make sure, because I figure they're probably gonna be shorties. What's that?
I'm full of bright ideas.
Apparently. So that's number one. And then we talked about socks on 9-inch circulars last time. So of course I had to try it. So I started socks on 9-inch circulars. This is the hand dyed Knit Picks sock blank that we did on our dye day, and this is how it is knitting up for me. Again, I can't, he moved my light and I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, you're a little fuzzy looking too, so I don't know
what's going on.
It's all right though.
I can't like position myself right. I'm mad at him. He was playing video games because
that's what 30-year-old men do.
40-year-old men.
40-year-old.
So, so I'm doing a vanilla sock on my 9-inch circular. It's a Knitter's Pride 9-inch circular, and of course the join here is like not very smooth. So I feel like sometimes I'm shoving my yarn over the join. So that's a little bit annoying. And the cuff was a pain in the butt to do on the 9-inch circulars. Purling is hard to do on a 9-inch circular for me. So I think if I do 9-inch circulars again, we'll have to see what happens when I get to the heel. And I think you can't do a toe on the 9-inch circulars. You have to transfer it to something else. Like it's not physically possible to do. So we'll see how all that works out when I get to the heel and all that. But I think if I do 9-inch circulars again, I would only do a vanilla sock on a 9-inch circular. Because I think if I had to do pattern on the 9-inch circular, that would really suck. So if I do it again, it'll just be a vanilla.
But do you actually like the 9-inch circular?
I like them. Yeah. Like now that I'm like cruising on it, it's nice, because I pick it up and I can just,
So maybe use DPNs for the cuff or magic loop for the cuff and then switch to 9-inch circulars. So long as you get the same gauge.
Yeah. Who measures gauge on a sock?
I don't know.
Who measures gauge at all?
Yeah, seriously. We're not gauge people here.
Most people do, but but I'm trying out this stitch marker method of counting your rounds. So hopefully I can do this correctly. So I'm at about 40 something rounds here. So
Val's doing it too.
yeah. So I'm planning 60 rounds for the leg, and then I'll start the heel, and we'll see what happens there. So I'm about 40 something rounds in already. So I'll be starting the heel soon. And again, because it's super easy to just pick them. If I have a few minutes for something, I can just pick them up and do a couple rounds. Because I haven't really, this has never been like my main project, except,
Getting
not
through
even
the
when I was
cuff.
doing the cuff. Yeah. Or, when I was doing the cuff, I think I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
But this yarn actually feels really nice. It's like a nice thick.
It's very soft too.
Yeah, it's like a nice thick sock yarn. So I think these are going to be cozy.
Are those for you?
Vanilla socks. Yes, for me. My hand dyed. I'm using for myself.
Yeah.
And because, actually I made this purchase just before I went into isolation. On Prime Day, of course, I had to look around for some things, and I purchased circular needles so I could try the magic loop. So these are the heel toe do-si-do pattern by Crazy Sock Lady. The yarn is mustache. I don't know how to say the colorway, like a Lykke. I don't know what that means or how to say it. But Julie got this for me. Early pandemic surprise package.
Yeah, a little pandemic pick me up.
Yeah. So I've made some progress on this too. I think I'm about halfway through the leg. It's working up very nicely. I wanted to make this pattern in this yarn for a long time, since I got the yarn, I think. I picked this out, and now it looks like I'm like a Crazy Sock Lady groupie or something, because I'm making a bunch of Crazy Sock Lady designs.
Yeah.
But she's hosting summer sock camp, so I was like, oh, I'll go check out her designs. And there's actually a bunch that I already had queued on Ravelry. This was one of them. So yeah, so I have 3 different socks in 3 different methods. And I think my favorite is the DPNs. So I probably will be going back to DPNs when all of this is over.
At least you tried them all, right?
Yeah. I like the magic loop. The first, I would say it took me a good 10 rounds to get comfortable with the magic loop, to get comfortable with the ribbing. The first few rounds, there's some horrible ladders. I have some really bad ladders in there for the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
It's also a twisted rib, so it's hard to pull the second stitch tight. I know the trick is to pull the second stitch tight, but with a rib, especially a twisted rib, it's really hard to do that. So it took a good 10, 12 rounds for that to stop happening. And then, once I got into the leg, I'm not getting ladders at all on the leg part of it. It's just the cuff. Getting some ladders there. But my experiment in sock techniques, 2022, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Very nice. Anything else that you're working on, or is that enough to keep you busy?
That's enough for now. So.
Very nice. All right. Well, I have a couple things. I actually have not been working on much lately, which is because of my outlier crafts, which I will get to. But because I finished that pair of socks, I had to cast on a new pair. And I finished the first sock of it so far because it's a shorty sock. It went pretty quick. This is Regia Floromania color. And it's like these major fluorescent colors.
It doesn't look like blinding fluorescent.
I know, but it's pretty damn bright. but whatever, it's fun. So my thing is, I made a pair of shorty socks. I did shorty socks like a couple years ago, and I did them in pattern, and I just followed the pattern. It was before I was like a major sock knitter, and I don't like them. They don't fit me well. They would always slide down in my shoe, and I didn't like that. So like the back of my heel was always rubbing against the back of the shoe. So, shorties are like a big thing now, and everyone's knitting them up. So I was like, well, let me give them another shot. So I did another pair. I don't think I showed them on here, just with some like leftover yarn, and they turned out okay. But so I'm listening to like other people, and they're like, oh, I did like, 10 rounds of a cuff, a couple rows of a leg, and then the heel. But I think of people that I watch, the podcasters I watch, are doing like afterthought heels, or like heel flap and gusset. And I don't do that. I do the fishless kiss heel. I totally blanked there for a second. And I think in general, it's just a shorter and smaller heel than the other ones. Like it's just this little cup that your heel goes into. And so when I did it, there was like nothing to keep the sock up. I didn't like it. So I picked a non hand-dyed yarn from the stash and was like, I'm just going to play around and try a longer leg and see how it works. So this is 12 rounds for the cuff, for the 2x2 rib cuff. And then I did 15 rounds of leg and then started the heel. And I've tried it on so far, and it fits really well. It stays up. It's not too high on my leg. Like I also don't want one that sticks up like 4 inches from my foot, from my shoe. So this one seems to fit well. And so we'll have to see. I'm past the heel on the second one, about
So like what
rows.
constitutes a shorty sock? Like it's just a shorter leg?
Yeah.
And that makes it a shorty sock?
Yeah, I
or
think
like
you can
is
kinda...
the trend to make like just a shorter leg, or is the trend to make like a ankle sock?
I think it's more
Or
like an
a
ankle
no-show sock? Like what's the...
Yeah, not quite no-show, but an ankle sock, like something that you're going to wear like in the summertime with a pair of shoes. But whereas Vala though was doing I would say a longer shorty sock, because she's got
mine is more than an ankle. It's more than an ankle sock, but I really probably should do an ankle sock because that's what I normally wear, is an ankle sock. But I did a little bit, like I should have like that much above my heel.
Before the cuff?
No, including the cuff. It'll be like
then
maybe
that's shorty.
Like 2 inches. I think it'll be like 2. So here's where I put the heel in.
I would consider that shorty then.
These are the markers where I put the heel in, and then I'll have that much. Okay, that's more than I thought.
That's more than 2 inches.
Yeah, that's maybe, I don't know what that is. 3 inches, 4 inches.
So she's making a hybrid sock, I would say.
I'm doing my own thing, which is very on brand for me.
Yes, that's very Val. But so anyway, this is where I am on the second one. I'm about 30. I do the stitch markers too. I'm about 30 rows into my foot out of 70. So once I get them done, I'm going to wear them in a pair of shoes, even if it's like 97 degrees, and see how they fit and if they stay up or not. And if they do, then I'm going to start making a lot of shorty socks, because I love my hand knit socks. I wear them all the time. In the summer, I usually wear store-bought cotton socks. And I've been finding that like they're lasting a season, and then they're full of holes on the bottom. And it just seems so wasteful. Like we're trying to be less wasteful in our lives and whatnot. And to buy a new set of socks every year is ridiculous. I mean, I don't wear them all that much. I'm in sandals quite a lot over the summer, but my socks just wind up torn up on the bottom. So I'm going to try shorties, and hopefully they'll last longer and give me another thing to knit, because, we all need more things to knit. So that's one project. And then my other project is a Musselburgh hat. Musselburgh by Isolde Teague. And this is out of my hand spun.
Very nice.
So, this was the Three Waters Farm Tour de Fleece colorways, and I spun them both and I plied them together. So one is a multicolor and one is a blue. And so you can see the blue strand running through all of it. And so It came out to, I'd say, about a DK weight-ish. So we'll see how this actually fits when it's done. I feel like it's really small, but I also think that might just be because they're like, it's scrunched up on the needles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just feels kind of small, but I love the color changes. It's
Yeah.
so spin
Very
cycle-y,
nice.
and everybody loves spin cycle. So that's it. Those are my only projects I'm working on.
Who is the hat for you?
I don't know yet. We'll see when I finish it. I'm just kind of making it like in a medium adult size. So
Mhm.
it'll be for most likely some woman I know, if not me. Just because all the men we know have big heads. So it can't go to a man. So they're definitely not going to be big enough for any of the men in our lives. So yeah, so that's it for me on that. Do you guys have any in your dreams? Anything you're dreaming about knitting?
I am kind of dreaming about vacation yarn purchasing.
Okay, so we have lost Val, but you still have me and Gloria. So Gloria, you were talking about your vacation knitting in your dreams.
Yeah, so I have some vacation yarn purchasing dreams because I've been on a bit of a yarn purchasing hiatus. Although I have some things here that I could show that we kind of mentioned last time, but didn't really talk about, that I kind of am still getting yarn on a regular basis, but it technically was purchased before I had to stop buying yarn. But so I'm going on vacation, or, I mean, a little bit of vacation. We're gonna go, I'm gonna go visit our parents. And then I'm gonna go visit some friends from college for a couple days, because I haven't been over there in a long time. And there is a yarn store in Rochester, New York that I really want to go to. Julie went last year when she went on vacation. And I really want to go because they carry Spun Right Round. Spun Right Round is, I think the yarn dyer lives in Rochester. And they also carry a new yarn that I have discovered, Meg's & Co. Meg's & Co. I discovered, Julie, I think you mentioned, but it was ironically, the row 1 dyer for this past month was Meg's & Co. So this is the Meg's & Co. I got the row 1 subscription, which I mentioned last time, but I didn't show any of it. So this is the Meg's & Co.
Very nice.
Row 1, for those of you that don't know, is a monthly yarn subscription. So for $40 a month, you get 10 10-gram mini skeins, so 100 grams of yarn. And every month it's a different dyer, so it's kind of an opportunity to try out different yarn dyers and stuff. So I have gotten 3 months so far. This was my second month. This is Big Sky Yarn Company.
That one was new to me. I had never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't, maybe I have. I might follow them on Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, but the first month was Barnyard Knits, which these colors are gorgeous. These are kind of more like muted, like subtle colors. I feel like the Big Sky colors are kind of brighter. And the Meg's & Co. These are really nice colors too. These are really pretty. So that's my row 1, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually get to the yarn store because the days that I'm going to be in Rochester, it's closed. So, so Liftbridge Yarns, if you're listening,
please open for Gloria.
So I don't know if I'm gonna have time, because then I was planning like, okay, what can I buy a sweater's quantity worth of yarn to make, out of Spun Right Round? Because, like, yeah, I can buy it off their website, but like seeing it in person and feeling it and looking at it and putting yarn colors together is so different.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the days that we're there, the store is going to be open. And it doesn't really, like, we're going to spend like one night in Rochester, and then my friend's brother has a house on one of the Finger Lakes. So we're going to go there for a night and, meet up with more people. So it doesn't really make sense to go back up to Rochester to come back home on the day that we leave. So I don't think I'm going to get a chance to go there. But so then I was thinking I'm going to spend a couple of days with my parents first. And when I'm there, they live in New Hampshire, I could go to Harrisville.
Yes, you
Harrisville
could.
Design Studio is in New Hampshire, not far from where my parents live. So we could go over there. So now I am dreaming about what I could make out of Harrisville yarn. And I really want to use their daylights. They have a nightshades collection, which is black yarn that's kind of like dusted with a color.
They have
And
I never heard of daylights.
Yeah, well, I have nightshades yarn that I got one time I was there to make like a tunic. It's like a sleeveless, like kind of longer thing. It's got like these pockets in it. Haven't made it yet, but I bought the yarn years ago when I was there one time with mom. But so they had this nightshades collection, and now they have a daylights collection, which is white yarn that's dusted with color. So yeah, so now I'm trying to find pattern daily yarn so that I go there, I can buy quantities worth of yarn.
Yeah.
So I have a couple designs in mind. I'm thinking either the No Frills sweater by Petite Knits, which is just it's like a mock turtleneck, just raglan plain sweater, or the Autumn League pullover, which I've been watching Cozy Up knits.
Yeah.
And they knit them like all the time. And but I swear those women like knit a sweater in a week. Like it's like, oh, I just started this. And then the next week, oh, look at my finished object. And it's like, seriously.
Yeah. And one of them, like she even homeschools her multiple children, and she seems to get a sweater done a week. I don't know how they do it.
But they are constantly talking about the Autumn League pullover. So I was considering that. But that looks like a little bit more like relaxed, drapey kind of thing. And the Harrisville yarn it's a very rustic, like woolly yarn. So I don't know if the Autumn League pullover is really going to work.
If it's rustic and woolly, it would probably be really good for color work.
I don't do color work.
Broaden your horizons.
I already broadened my horizons.
I know you did.
Brioche.
You did brioche, and you did like 3 different methods of socks. So
yes.
I guess I shouldn't.
I don't think I'm ready
further.
for color work. I think the first time I do color work, I'm gonna do like a cowl.
Okay.
Try it out. I don't think I'm ready for a sweater color work. I don't want to buy a sweater's quantities worth of yarn expecting to do color work, because I don't know if it's going to happen, and then I'm stuck with a sweater's quantity worth of yarn that I have to figure out something to do with. So those are what I'm thinking right now. I believe the Daylights yarn is a DK weight. So any DK weight sweater suggestions I will take.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Did anybody comment on the last podcast? No.
One day they will.
But I wanted to tell you, Tony Lipsy, TL Yarn Crafts, she just did a tutorial on granny square knitting.
Oh, really?
And like color changes in granny square. Ooh. So yeah,
sweater,
you might want to take a look at that with your sweater that you were making.
Yeah.
So that's my dreams right now, is looking for a DK sweater that I can make, sweater, top, cardigan, anything.
Yeah.
With a rustic woolly Harrisville yarn.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good. You got to have it all set before you go on vacation.
Yeah.
I gotta have your list of what you need and your plans. You don't want to be walking around
Although
Harrisville.
Harrisville, like
I know they're
last
wonderful.
time I was there, I was talking about something I was looking for yarn for, and the woman like literally looked up the pattern while I was there, and she's like, "Ooh, yeah!" And then she's like helping me pick out colors. Like she will like, you know, if I'm looking for something, she'll like look it up and be like, "Okay, this is how much yarn you need." Like they are so helpful.
Yeah, most likely you could just walk in there and be like, "I want to make something out of these daylight colors," and she'll be like, "Oh, here's a list of patterns,
like, suggestions and options, and yeah, samples probably."
Yeah, probably. So it depends on how much time you want to spend there and whether you want to, you know, do all your research there or not. Just definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of combine my In My Dreams with my outlier crafts because they overlap quite a bit.
Okay.
So my outlier craft has been spinning, a lot of spinning, because it is Tour de Fleece, and I am all about Tour de Fleece this year. Like full on, like, well, I always watch the tour, but like watching the tour and spinning the whole time I'm watching. So I'm getting like, I usually get to watch like 3 hours of the tour each day. So I have like 3 hours of spinning time, and it's been lovely. So I already showed the yarn that I spun that I'm making the Musselburgh hat out of. And I apologize for my lighting, which is now very harsh, but it started getting dark outside. So, and my lamp is not in the right place. So I have a shadow face here. But the next thing that I started working on was a gradient set by Inglenook Fibers called Sing to Me Autumn. And it is Humbug Shetland, which I didn't even know was a thing, mixed with mulberry silk, and it's 12.3 ounces. And it is a braid gradient set. So it's all these little mini braids. And I have things stuck in here so I know what number it is in the gradient set. But I have spun, there were 8 of them. I have spun 6 of them so far. Okay. So these are my spun 6.
Very nice.
So it's a green to orange to red, and then the last 2 are purpley.
Very nice.
So I am getting, I'm not doing it the most consistent, but I'm getting around 120 yards per mini skein here.
Okay.
And it's, I would say, about fingering weight. It's a nice, decently thin 2-ply yarn. So it is a bit rusticy. This Humbug Shetland is a little rougher than I would like right next to my skin. I think I have very sensitive skin. I think this would be not good for a cowl for me or mitts or anything like that. So I'm thinking a shawl. So with my 8 skeins together, I will have close to 1,000 yards, I think. I have a little over 900 yards.
Okay.
Depending on if I get, you know, the full yardage out of these last 2. I'm guessing I'll have between 900 and 1,000 yards. So I'm trying to figure out what to make out of it, because like I'm gonna want to cast this on as soon as I'm done.
Yeah. The Venetian shawl by Amber O'Brien.
I don't know that one.
I made the Spun Right Round mini set. That we both had. We had the you made the juniper cowl out of it. I made a shawl out of it, and I did the Venetian.
Spelt like Venetian?
I don't know. VEN.
Yeah.
ATION.
That was not what I was thinking at all. Okay, I found it. Okay, so it's like a
small gradient.
Yeah, well, it looks decent sized, but it's got like a
I'm trying to get a picture of it on my phone.
Go ahead. But yeah, so that's a possibility. I was thinking,
I mean, how many? I think it was 10. In that mini skein set.
It says it used 870 yards.
Here, this is what it looks like. Oh,
Yeah, I can't.
I
I'll
can't
do
like
mine. I
my,
can't see yours well.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
Mine now.
yours doesn't work.
Yeah.
I can't see anything on yours. It's too bright.
Here you go. You can see it. You can
Yeah.
see it.
So that's a possibility. I was thinking maybe, well, so it's a nice gradient, so I should probably do something that shows off the gradient. But I was also thinking, because I just randomly like was on Ravelry and I just did like, I like the advanced search on Ravelry. Ravelry is not always my friend, but on the computer, I can handle it pretty well. And I can navigate it pretty well. So I did like the advanced search with fingering weight, and then I put like the yardage requirements or whatever. I think I put like 750 all the way up to 1,000 or something like that. And Stephen West's Vertices Unite showed up, and I've always wanted to do a Vertices Unite.
Which one is Vertices Unite?
It's just a very modular one. Let me pull up a picture. But it's not going to show off the gradient as well, but I feel like because it's all like in the same color set, that maybe it will look really good. I don't know though.
Oh, okay.
So
You
I
think
think
you'll have enough of one color for like the bigger blocks though?
well, so those bigger blocks are actually striped.
Oh,
Like that big yellow there is two different colors striped together.
Okay.
I get it. It's not going to focus enough to show you. So I mean, that would be the concern, is whether or not I would have enough of single colors. I'd have to look into it more. Oh my goodness, I love this picture.
He is too much.
I know.
He is too much.
He looks so young in that.
The penguin picture.
Oh my God, I love them all. He's the best.
Well, you have to go, like the best is his YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
Where he sings about brioche knitting. He has a whole song and dancing video about brioche knitting, and I love it.
So that's a possibility. I need to look into more of the gradient type shawls, because I do want to show off. Like, it's a really pretty gradient.
Yeah, well, I say the Amber O'Brien one. That's my vote.
Yeah, okay. I'll look into that one more.
Yeah.
So that's half of my outlier crafts. My other part of my outlier craft is I got like some spinning tools that I've been playing with this week. So I got this, which I know you don't know what this is, but this is called a Diz, and I got it from Hip Strings. And it's a Doctor Who design on it.
Okay.
But, so you use it, you pull your fiber through it, and it's a way to prep it and kind of so your fiber comes. So this is what one of my Inglenook sticklebacks looks like. So it's this like, it's a pretty dense fiber prep.
Okay.
And then you pull it through it, and it's what's called drafting it. And this is what I wound up with from one of those, is these two big fluffy balls. So it's much easier to spin from.
Okay.
So it came in the mail like 2 days ago. So I spent like the day drafting stuff just to have fun with it. And then I was playing around with one of my new spindles, because I got new spindles too. So I got these cute little Turkish spindles or cross arm spindle. They're called either one. So I got.
Now, what does the thing on the bottom do?
Yeah, that's just part of what holds it together. So it comes, it's like in multiple.
But like, okay, so why I don't know anything about spinning. You should have had this conversation with Val.
I know, we really needed Val on for this, but like it comes apart.
Okay.
So it's like a little puzzle, and you put it back together. But when you're done spinning it, you've got this yarn on there, and you wrap it around to make this pretty little, it's called a turtle. Looks like, do you remember doing those things where you wrap yarn around popsicle sticks? It was called like a God's Eye, I think. It looks like that. I don't know. I just saw it somewhere. It looks like that on the spindle. You can't see it as well because it's got all these little flecks of silk in there that are just, or sorry, silk that's making it look different. But when you're done, you take the center thing out and take both arms out, and you have this like center pull ball ready to go. So you can fly it together right from this. You don't have to wrap it on anything. You don't have to do anything else. That's all you have to do. So, so I've been playing on this, and this was one of my spinning adventures.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I have a whole set of Inglenook sticklebacks. This was another Tour de Fleece exclusive. So I'm going to do these all on the little spindles. It's going to take me like 5 years, but it's
That's okay.
It's going to be fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting a nice, decently thin yarn, decently consistent. So it's fun.
Very nice.
So yeah, and that's it. I haven't done any other crafts. I'm usually like, you know, embroidering, sewing, doing other stuff. And I haven't done anything because Tour de Fleece is like taking up so much of my crafting time. If I'm going to sit down and spend, you know, 3 hours spinning, like that's it for my crafting time for the day. I have to then, you know, get up and shower and move on with my day and feed my children and all that kind of stuff.
Details.
I know. All the not crafty parts of my day are not nearly as fun as my crafty parts. So that's basically all I've been up to all week, is spinning a lot, a little bit of knitting. So that's it.
So can I show something else?
Yeah. What is it?
My Emma's yarns.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been on a little bit of a yarn buying ban because I have some things coming up that are going to be very expensive. So I'm trying to save some money.
Stupid life. You got to pay for it.
I know. Stupid education. But there's a couple things like the row 1 yarn subscription I kind of started before I implemented this yarn buying ban. But I do like, you know, I do want to buy something when I go on vacation. This is the only vacation I'm gonna get for a long time. And it's, you know, it's to visit my parents and, you know, 2 days with some friends from college. So I want to get a little something for myself if I'm going to be at a very nice yarn store.
Yeah.
And I am saving for an Advent this year. But I do have the row 1 that I'm doing. And then before any of this happened, I had purchased a Emma's Yarns Yarn Club subscription. I did a 9-month Yarn Club subscription. They open it a couple times, like they open it at the beginning of the year usually. And I thought about doing it in January and I didn't. And I, you know, was kicking myself for not doing it. So they opened it again a few months ago. And I did the 9-month. That's the longest I could do. They didn't have a 12-month option available. So I did the 9-month.
They didn't have a renewable for life option because
no. Yeah, because you know I'd be on that like because Emma's Yarns right now is my favorite. I love their colors. I love the yarn. It's beautiful. It's called the Crazy Beautiful Yarn Club. And there's different month options that you can be, you know, you can do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, depending on, you know, how they open it. And then there's all different options for, like, you can get different yarn weights, you can get different yarn bases. You could get, I chose to do the sock set. So every month I get a sock set. So I have about 4 months already. So this was my first one. And it's like a mauve-y.
it looks like our hand-dyed sock blank a bit.
A little bit, but it's more just like a mauve-y, pinky, purpley color.
Okay.
And then I've got like a brown contrast color, which this is so me, this pink and brown.
Yeah.
And I have kind of plans for all of these because I'm like sock crazy right now. So there's a Paper Daisies sock design that I want to make with this one. She put out a like collection of designs that were inspired by the Secret Garden. So one of those I want to make in this in this year color. And then the next month, this band is coming off here. But the next month was this color. So it's a very pink. There's little bits of green in there. Again, very light, subtle colors, and it came with like a bright pink contrast.
Yeah.
And my plan for this is socks for my sister-in-law. It's going to be out of this. And there is a pattern by Crazy Sock Lady. It's the arrows pattern. I don't know if it has a longer name, but there's arrows in there somewhere. And again, that's a pattern I've wanted to make for a long time. And I think this yarn is like subtle enough that you'll see the texture of
Yeah.
the pattern. You know, I didn't want anything like too busy for that. So that was my second one. And then this one's my favorite. It's like this like bluish color, and it's got pinks in there, a little bit of like yellowy color. And then I got a dark blue as the contrast. So I don't know if like everybody who gets the sock set gets the same contrast color.
Okay.
Because they give us like at the end of the month, they give us like a preview of what the color is going to look like. Like, you know, the next month's color is going to look like, and they line up a bunch of minis next to it of like, you know, coordinating color minis. So I don't know if everybody who gets the sock set gets the same coordinating color, or if it could be a bunch of different colors.
Is there like the option to get like a full skein and a set of minis?
No, but they do have an option to get a Kuma cowl. If you know it, it's one of the Laura Dobrat's patterns. It's a Kuma cowl, and it is a I have one actually. So the Kuma cowl is a mohair with coordinating mini skeins. So I think if you get the Kuma cowl option for your monthly thing, that is an option. You can get a Kuma cowl kit. And it's just like it's like, you know, you hold the one strand of the mohair with the color, and it's just like a, you know, it's a little bit shaped, and it's just like a drapey cowl. But I think if you get that option, the mohair is the monthly color.
Yeah.
The mohair would be the monthly color, and then you get coordinating minis. Okay. That option is very expensive,
I'm sure.
So
yeah, so it's possible they may just do a bunch of mini skein sets and then mix and match with the
yeah, they have a bunch of mini skein sets.
Yeah.
That you could get a bunch of mini skeins if you wanted to. You know, I did that Practically Perfect bundle that one time. So yeah, they have a bunch of like mini skeins. But this one I'm going to do the Rhinebeck Roomies socks.
Are you just gonna like follow her to Supercuts or something, Gloria?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I said. I'm like,
we're gonna just become the Crazy Sock Lady fangirl podcast over here.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I said, she's hosting, so I was like, all right, let me go check out her patterns.
Yeah.
But like the arrows one, I've wanted to make for a while, and I didn't even realize it was her until I went to go check out her Ravelry patterns. And the Rhinebeck Roomies, I was
Homespun House has done it a few times.
Yeah, and I wasn't crazy about it like when I first saw it, because I was like, oh, Rhinebeck, let me make a Rhinebeck pattern. And I wasn't crazy about it when I first saw it, but now that I've been seeing it knit up, I want to make it now. So I really like this colorway, and I want to make the Rhinebeck Roomies. And then the July yarn, red, white, blue. And this one I want to make, it's called chicken scratch socks. And it's kind of like this elongated stitch thing. It's similar to this, it looks similar, I'm assuming. It looks similar to the stitch that's in the Summer Sorel tops,
Mhm.
or all the Sorel tops that have that like line of like the elongated stitches that go down. It looks similar to that stitch. But I figure it kind of, to me, it kind of looks like fireworks.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, the red, white, and blue socks with that chicken scratch pattern. So
Very cute.
that's my plan for these ones. So
I don't know how you do so many pattern socks. I can't, I don't have the brain power to do that.
yeah, well, it
Vanilla.
takes longer
Yeah.
than doing a vanilla sock, but I like patterned socks. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna put the effort in to making your own socks, to make them a little bit more unique.
Okay.
So I like patterned socks. So
Yeah, I think I just like I guess for me, it's more the process than the product for the socks. Like I like that I can just pull them out, not have to look at a pattern or anything like that, and just knit, knit, knit until they're done.
uh-huh.
So
Yeah. Yeah, so even though I haven't been buying that much yarn, like most of
it's
this
still showing up at your house.
it's already, I mean, it's already paid for. It's already paid for. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yep.
It's just gonna come. So yeah.
That's how I
what
feel about my like. So I think so I bought a few things over Tour de Fleece because everyone who dyes fiber is pushing it during Tour de Fleece because they know we're all following the hashtag. So I bought a couple things, but I haven't really bought much yarn at all lately. But I keep holding on to the thought like I still have a pre-order of like Stars Hollow yarn from someone. I don't even remember who the dyer is, but
Was it Little Wolf Knits?
no.
Oh, because she does a Gilmore Girls. She does a Gilmore Girls one, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not her. It was can't even remember who it is now, which is terrible. But she did like this pre-order of all these awesome colorways and I got like a ton of them. And so I still have that, like that will come to me eventually. I have Freckled Whimsy. No. Was it I think it was Freckled Whimsy. I did like the Christmas sock thing that she does where like it's like a 25 stripe sock or something like that and you do a stripe
Okay.
each day. And then I still have my advent kit. So those are all already paid for and will come here eventually. And so I keep thinking when I look at yarn, I'm like, nope, I have stuff on the way. I have so much that I
haven't
can't
even like wanted to buy a lot of stuff lately. Like I think I've just been so into like the things that I have going on right now that I'm not even really like desiring a lot of stuff, right? Like, you know, and I'm seeing patterns come out and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like, you know, normally it's like, oh, I have to make this, I have to make that, I have to buy the kit for this. And, you know, like, I just don't feel like, I don't feel that anymore. I think it's because I have so many shawl kits.
Yeah.
And I really want to start making sweaters that I'm like, I'm like obsessing over sweater patterns now.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm hitting Instagram overload. I think like I don't really follow that many friends on Instagram. Like that's more for me Facebook, which I don't use that much. And then Instagram is where I follow like yarn dyers and pattern designers and podcasters. And I feel like I've just hit the point, and I'm also following the Summer Sock Camp hashtag and the Tour de Fleece hashtag. I've hit the point where I'm not able to scroll and see everything I've missed. Like I used to be able to scroll and see everything and like hit an end of it, and I don't anymore.
Right.
And I feel like it's overwhelming, and so I'm not spending as much time on Instagram just because it's like I'm never going to get to the end of it. I find it very stressful, all this, you know, stuff. So maybe I'm just not hit with all the new stuff coming out as much, and so I'm not as tempted to buy it all. But
yeah, I think so too. I think there's a lot of stuff I'm missing lately because like you said, I just can't, there's only so much you can look at and scroll through. And yeah, I think I'm missing a lot of like some of the new stuff.
Yeah. Plus like, so there's different options now for me for Instagram. I don't know if everyone has the same ones where you can just see who you're following or you're favorited or something like that, or you can see what you're following, or you can just see your regular feed. So the regular feed for me is half ads. Like every other thing is an ad for something. Or it's recommended to me because I looked at something else or whatever. And it's just really annoying. So I go to like my favorites, which is like 4 people, and I see what they posted. And then I go to my following, and the following is just, it seems to be just people I follow, not hashtags I follow. So it doesn't show me the Tour de Fleece, which is what I want to see now because that's what I'm working on. So I wind up just looking at the Tour de Fleece hashtag, and that's it. Like I'll search for it and look at it, and then I'm not looking at everything else. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good way to limit my spending is just not to look at it all. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing out on a lot of stuff I want though too. So
Yeah.
like someone had posted Bumblebee Acres Farms or Bumblebee Farm Acres, something like that. Posted these gorgeous Stranger Things sock sets. And I was so pissed I missed out on it because I just didn't see it pop up in my feed anywhere. And there's just so many dire newsletters I can subscribe to. So
Right. Yeah.
I don't subscribe to, I subscribe to quite a few of them, but not all of them. Even if I did, I probably wouldn't open half of them because I get so many emails about all this stuff. So,
I know.
I probably would have missed it one way or another, but I'm really pissed off I missed that one because they are gorgeous and I wish I got them, but whatever. It is what it is. She opened up a giveaway for it for one of them, so I entered that. Let's see if I get that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's all I have today. You have anything else you want to share?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then we'll see everyone in 2 weeks. And Gloria would love some suggestions for DK weight sweaters. And if Lift Bridge Yarns is following us and watching us, just send her a message and say, don't worry, we'll open for you. Just let me know what day.
Hey, you never know.
You never know.
I'm putting it out in the universe.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, have a good 2 weeks, everyone, and we'll be back in a couple weeks.
All right.
Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.